Hello?
Welcome everyone to another series in the Server 42 Losers Bracket. We are finally on to round 2 between Skeletal and Man of Frogs. I am joined tonight by EpicSimeon. How's it going, my dudes?
Hello. It's going great. I had a huge lab report this afternoon,
Nice.
but now I'm done and I'm ready to cast.
Awesome. So yeah, we're almost into the final stages of the tournament. Hang on, I'll just turn on the volume 1 second. But yeah, so there is, once this series is complete, we will know who's going to end up playing against Grump Gobblers. The winner of that series will go into the losers bracket final to face Built Different plus Raj, and then the winner of that will go on to the grand final to go and face I believe it is Burton Cat's team, if I remember correctly. That is Team Prairie. That's the one. I just couldn't remember the team name. But yeah, we're almost there, guys. A lot of series been played to get to this point. But
yeah, and we were lucky enough to cast both of these teams' previous games, so we have a bit of insight of maybe what's going to happen. As Hecarim gets first taken away here, or Lush on the side of Manila Frogs. I think it's a good idea for them to prioritize their jungler. That's their big carry.
yeah, I mean, Lush has put in a lot of games in the Hecarim throughout the tournament. Like, he's performed pretty consistently on it. Usually acts as like the big kind of engage, kind of backline dive for the team, where we see a lot of kind of dead support coming from the rest of the team. Like Dutch Lord's usually on something like the Ashe, particularly has been effective with that pick. So see what they end up going towards. A lot of junglers were banned from the sides of Skeletal, so they are targeting Lush in a big way so far.
Yeah, which was the only game that Manila Frogs won in the previous series, where they just demolished once Lush got his hands on that E. So on the other hand, as the Victor and Seraphine get picked up by the side of Skeletal, I want to point out that Manila Frogs did their homework. They banned the Swain. They don't want to let Manizu play that.
That's true. Also, some strong sideline picks taken away, like the Camille and the Echo, which I'm pretty sure SP could play plenty of, and it'd be a big sideline threat, which would be in direct counter to something like the Hecarim, who wants to just team fight most of the time. But right now, some strong picks been taken away. You have, Kaisa Galio. Galio can flex around between mid and bot and support. Can pair really well with Kaisa, but also the Hecarim, because you can pair up those two ultis together for some like really like high kind of CC kind of team disruption.
Yeah, when the dive is pretty big on the side of Manila Frogs. There's a lot of synergy so far between the picks, as we see Udyr picked up by Krusty Pants as an answer to the Hecarim. I've heard recently Udyr's been a pretty big pick. It was picked in LEC. I saw it in a scrim recently that did pretty well. So
yeah, I mean, he's just so good at clearing camps and like being just so annoying in fights, especially the later the game goes. Like, he can run around so fast, and he can just be a massive nuisance, and even just like do some outright damage, if he's given a bit of time. So, but the way they've drafted their account so far for Skeletal is a bit disjointed, like, because you have some kind of team fighting here going on with Victor and Seraphine. Like, obviously the Seraphine ulti being very, very useful, especially in tight corridors where the charm that could keep on traveling through allies and enemies, it can be quite devastating. But then Udyr doesn't really fit that himself, right? It's kind of like he's more kind of like making picks, or kind of being, maybe going in for like a single target CC and then like running out. So we'll see what other tools Skeletal give themselves for the comp that they got so far. They are going to lock in Tristana.
That's an answer to the Kaisa in the bot lane, and they're going to leave their top laner for last pick, for counter pick.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah, I agreed that Udyr, while it's a really good pick recently, it doesn't exactly fit the rest of the comp so well. In terms of you have Tristana, Seraphine, Victor. They can, like the control mage, the zone, the CC from Seraphine, the damage from Tristana. It's a bit more team fight oriented, but they can still work with that sort of comp as a and make it more turn it more into a pick comp. So I guess that's what they have to go for now because the Ornn gets locked in here for Ankle Smash Redman, and with the rest of that comp, that is a huge team fight comp, which is going to be hard to beat in the late game. So we're going to have to see. Oh, it's Caston as well. That's a very hard scaling comp. So we're gonna have to see Skeletal try and pull off something in the early game, try and disrupt this scaling comp, and not let it, not let the side of Manila Frogs like have their free time on the map.
Yeah, it seems like they're drafted really hard into this kind of heavy AP kind of scaling composition, which might come back to bite them. As Caston does take a little while to come online. He's also just not like it's probably like a decent matchup into the Victor. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of late game here, and not a lot of skills to help actually the Hecarim early on. Maybe make kind of early plays like you'd want to. Like he might even need help against Udyr right early on.
Yeah, for sure, he will need that help into Udyr, and it's up to Krusty Pants and Bob there in this early game to really apply that pressure with the Victor Udyr, because like Kassadin, sure, like he has a magic shield to help his lane against Victor, but he is gonna be really hard to avoid. He's gonna really struggle to avoid some of those Udyr ganks in the early game without that ultimate. So yeah, we'll have to see if that of Skeletal can apply enough pressure in that early game and get ahead and get rolling.
Yeah, for sure. So we're just going to go to a quick wait while we're waiting for Spectre Day to catch up. So we'll talk to you guys a bit. And we are into game 1 of this best of 3 between Skeletal and Mana Love Frogs. This being the final knockout chance for either team. If you do get knocked out here, you are out for the rest of the tournament. The winner, as I said, does go on to face Grump Gobblers in the final knockout, or in the next knockout round, I should say, which is a prelude to the losers bracket final, which will be a best of 5. All this hopefully coming up in the next couple of weeks as we're trying to wrap up the end of this tournament. But
can we have a quick time check?
Yeah, I'm on 51, 52.
Yeah, 53. I'm a bit
53.
behind. Can you wait for me?
Yeah,
just
I'll pause at 55. I'm on 56 at the moment.
I'll count up to 56 when I get there.
Sorry, what was that?
No, sorry, I just coughed. Just another 10, 15 seconds.
Oh, you started very far behind.
Yeah, sorry, I loaded in a bit later.
No worries.
Okay. Alright, as we start 52, 53, 54, 55, 56.
Okay, so Lush getting in a cheeky ward here on Krusty Pants' Raptor Pit, so getting themselves a bit of information. Otherwise, not too much else happening here. Looks like Krusty is probably going to start here on his top side, as he's still hovering around this area, but may end up moving down towards bot lane instead. Maybe actually be going towards his blue for a leash.
Yeah, he was hovering around the mid lane, and I guess the side of Mana Love Frogs do see that he's not going over to through that Raptor camp, so they will probably they'll be pretty certain that he's starting on that blue buff, and of course with the leash, they'll see Cormico and Manizu getting to lane a bit later. Okay, so early game. What do we expect? I think.
So, in terms of like just being able to be proactive in the early game, I expect a lot more out of Krusty Pants, just given his kind of lane setup he's got here. Like you can definitely look to bully this Caston early on, which is what you'd like to do, obviously, before he gets level 6 and has the kind of the safety of that ulti to get away. Otherwise, I'm not too sure. Again, the only real setup the Hecarim has, he doesn't really have any in the mid lane. It's more kind of top and bot.
Was the level 2 jump in from Cormico, forcing the flash out of Dutch Source. He's still going to fall though. Another jump reset coming in from Cormico, almost finishing clean as. Flashing in for that last level, not going to be enough. But that is a first blood down in the bot lane for Cormico. Yeah,
just Dutch and clean as not respecting the level 2 coming in and end up getting punished very harsh. Almost no summons for Dutch Swords, no flash for clean ads. They're going to be very vulnerable for even more kills. And yeah, like they can definitely play this lane super aggressively. The Tristana and the Seraphine.
Yeah, for sure. The Tristana, just the early game, that level 2 power spike, in general, just really strong. And the exhaust coming in from Manizu onto Dutch Source, not letting him get away. Yeah, that's it. Good play. Good first blood. As I wanted to point out that I just noticed that in all 3 lanes it appears to be ranged versus melee for the side of Skeletal, so that should be pressure, as we kind of have seen. Ooh, as Ankle Smash Redman goes in for a trade onto SLB, but I think he might have bit off more than he can chew, as he has to flash away to not die. That was a little bit greedy, I say.
Yeah, unfortunately. Bit of an unfortunate favour Smash Redman. He also gets his back cancelled, so he's going to be delayed even further. Will very likely have to use CP. In fact, he's staying here to trying to grab some minions. He's going to miss all of this, though, to be honest. Like, he's just not in a good position to try to get this. Really should have just backed further from the wave and maybe gone for the reset, but...
And he gets to them as Lush comes in here, speeding up with that E, but it's not going to get close enough. SLB just jumps away. Yeah, I don't know why he went for that trade. There was a huge wave. He could have tried to catch on the tower. I think he would have been able to even out the CS at that point, but regardless, he doesn't die in the end, so he does use his flash for that. It's a bit of a blunder, but we'll have to see whether Krusty Pants goes in to punish that as some sort of dive in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Right now, just trying to survive as best he can. Obviously, especially against the Mininar, I should say, can get poked out very horrendously with those with that stacking proc. It's very hard to deal with, and yeah, it's just SB controlling top wave pretty well. Just taking a quick look across the rest of the map. Obviously, Cormico came back to lane with pickaxe, so is in a very strong position. Can threaten another all in on Dutch Lord. So,
100%.
Yeah, Mellow Frog's bot lane has to play very, very carefully. Meanwhile, jungler's just kind of power farming at the moment, not really doing a whole lot. We did see Lush briefly up top lane, but yeah, not again. They're kind of just farming away. Happy enough to keep that up. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, the junglers, they're both the kind of junglers that do like to power farm in the early game, but I think Krusty Pants should be using some of these advantages in the lanes as Cleanaz gets chunked very low in his bottom lane. As in their side, it's Lush coming in here, but forcing the TP out of both top laners. No, but top laner SLB and mid laner. Sorry, Matrix? I didn't see. Yeah, Matrix TP'd as 2 kills go down for the side of Mana Love Frogs. The 3rd kill is not going to. Oh, it is going to happen as Matrix goes in and then flashes out to survive.
Oh, it's absolute disaster for Skeletal. Like
the Reaper 0.
Yeah, like SLB TPing in there when realistically, like either like one of his bot laners were going to die. But I don't think there's any way you can turn around that 4v3. So yeah, and Cormico went back to trade, but then ended up getting caught out by Matrix and Dutch Lords himself. So yeah, that's a massive amount of gold being thrown away there. It's actually put this bot lane back in the regal position, giving 2 kills over to Dutch Lords.
Yeah, with that serrated dirt coming out for the Kai'Sa. A really good good play. Lush was spotted on a ward, I believe, in the tri-bush when he first came in, but Cormico and Manizu weren't able to escape. They had the TP ward behind them as the first TP came in from Matrix PL. And yeah, that's a good play by set of Mind Left Frogs. Well set up with that flank ward from Dutch Source and Cleanaz, and well played.
So Krusty looking to sneak in Drake here, does that pretty cleanly. Not too worried about that.
Oh,
and SLB
comes out of SLB.
Yeah, I mean, like you basically use it for free every time you get Mega Gnar, so you might as well use it, right? It's not like putting it on cooldown is gonna punish you anyway.
Cormico might have jumped in way too deep as he gets CC'd by Cleanaz, gets taunted, and tries to kite out there and walk away. The flash from Manizu to try to finish the kill, but not going to be enough. That's a 3rd kill of the game for Dutch Source.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about Irish players playing Tristana that they just can't help themselves but just rocket jump in every chance they get, and yeah, like Kevinman, like Ted Blonde, like they just kind of do it to their own detriment. And yeah, Cormico gets punished for that pretty harshly. Now 2 kills down. It's given a lot of gold back to Dutch Source after having a really good opening play.
And they're even on CS, and he's down on kills, so he is in total down 500-ish gold right now.
Yep.
After being ahead in the early game.
So trying to see how that's going to actually play out on the map. Both junglers are. Krusty Pants is level 7, so has continued to kind of just power farm away. Obviously hasn't made the impact on the map yet, like Lush has, who has 3 assists to his name. So we're kind of waiting to see this Udyr start to take off and start impacting the map in some form. He kind of needs to start doing it soon, because the scaling is on the side of Mana Love Frogs. So you really want to start punishing that as soon as possible.
Yeah, that Udyr, he really gets online in that mid game for those skirmishes where he gets the point and click CC. He gets the, pretty big damage at that stage of the game. So that's when he really wants to try and turn the game around, get an advantage. So far, he's gotten just a Drake for his team, but we'll have to see. Right now, he's seeing Lush in the top side, however, in the bot lane, an ultimate comes out of Manizu, charms both the bot laners. Dutch Source survives on very little. He jumps back in to try and finish that kill. He flashes in to finish it, but he will fall for it. Cleanaz will not be able to continue that trade, I don't think, and he has to try and walk away. As Cormico jumps in on him, I think he finishes him as he gets taunted. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he should finish off the kill here on Clean As.
Pretty close.
Oh my god, no, never mind.
As Clean As plays with that bush vision really well to try and, to avoid getting hit just that millisecond sooner, or whatever, to avoid that one auto attack, to be able to get that E in to get the to get the trade. Well played by him, but yeah, that's a 2 for 2 in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, that's still very much in favor of Dutch Source, who got himself even more kills. Now, Cormico has managed to finish the Kraken Slayer off of that play, so it does come out, should have a bit of advantage in these 2v2 kind of plays, but like, definitely you would have expected Cormico to, be able to kill Clean As without getting killed in return, but yeah, it was well played by the MILF support to kind of turn it around using, as you said, the bush vision to kind of obscure himself and then get the Justice Punch into the passive, just to get that 1v1 trade.
Initially, it was Clean As who went in, managing to get that knockup onto Manizu, but he did get the 2-man ultimate charm, so it was a pretty even fight, all things considered, and yeah, all participants managed to die in the end. So yeah, quite an even fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Cormico only has barely 200 gold ahead of Touch Source, so it's not like he's got a massive lead. It's more that it seems like, especially the builds that Dutch Source is going for, where you're kind of trying to spike on your Kai's upgrades. That's probably why he doesn't have his first item complete yet, because you've got the Straight Dirk as well as components for your mythic item. But yeah, it does mean temporarily that Cormico does have a bit of advantage in the lane while he has that complete.
As I just realized that he did get the gold. He didn't have it before, but he did get it before because he got the shutdown onto Dutch Source and both kills in the trade, while Dutch Source only got the 1 kill onto Manizu. That's why he technically did come out a bit ahead. But yeah, until Dutch Source finishes his mythic, he shouldn't trade too much, I don't think.
Yeah.
Give it hard for him.
So Lush is here in the top side, just trying to get some of this farm while Angus Smash Redman was resetting. Has TP'd in.
I think that TP might have been necessary to prevent the 3-man dive onto Lush there, as Krusty Pants and Boppler were setting up for that, but now they're walking towards that bot side river for the second Drake of the game.
Yeah, I mean, again, Krusty Pants doesn't have full power yet. Victor has been pushed in, but he is starting to get the wave in his favor now. Of course, he's actually just gone back to his own jungle, just farm up ground for now. He's probably waiting to see if his lanes can get some sort of control, but Lush is down here, possibly looking for another gank. All summons are available for the side of Skeletal, so they should be able to get out of this if anything does happen.
He's just going to clear some vision here, as Krusty Pants is coming in here, possibly waiting to start a fight, but he will walk away and won't go too deep.
Yeah, not too much happening.
It's a bit of a dance around that bot side river right now, because the waves are bouncing in the mid lane. In the bot lane, no one really has clear control. Both sides are pushing in the waves. No one wants to overextend, so both teams are kind of waiting to try and see if the other team would make a mistake. But this is, I think, advantageous for the side of Manolaf Frogs, who are
100%
scaling harder.
Yeah, like, again, the gold is very even between, Victor and Caston, and then the bot lanes as well. The biggest difference right now is obviously SLB is bullying out the Ornn like very harshly, has built himself up quite a lead. But honestly, that's not really going to make much of a difference, right? You'd really like to have seen the Udyr and the Victor teaming up to kind of try punish Caston, put him far behind as much as possible. Maybe even have a pick that's different than Udyr if you can't really make it work, because again, you don't want Caston just free scaling as well as a Kaisa.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only fights Caston has been so far in this game have been him TPing to the bot lane fight.
Yeah. Now, Krusty is securing some objectives here. Like, he has gotten the early dragon. Like, he's getting himself a herald now.
Flash is forced out of Ankle Smash Redman by SLB, who ults there. And the ult comes in from Ankle Smash Redman. Are they going to keep chasing? No, they're going to try and use it disengage, as there's a numbers advantage for the side of Skeletal.
Yeah.
After they secure that, sorry, the Rift Herald. That's what it's called.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so there's no need for Skeletal to keep chasing. They did manage to secure themselves a Herald without much contest. May look to use this top lane perhaps to try get SLB, get a tower down for SLB so he can start moving around. Although they do seem here.
Ooh. Krusty Pants is caught off in a little bit of a struggle here. He does manage to get the stun onto Ankle Smash Red and flashes away as SLB is now caught in between 3 people, and Krusty Pants walks away, but SLB dies in that exchange as the flashing comes out from Matrix PL to finish off the second kill. That's a 2 for 0 after that attempt at finishing the top lane tower.
I'm not too sure what Krusty Pants was going for there. Like, you don't really want to tower dive an Ornn, to be honest, and like they should have known there was probably vision in the area as well. So bit of greed or just a bit of misplaced judgment from Krusty Pants coming out there. But yeah, ultimately does give over 2 kills to Man Love Frogs. Gives another kill to Scaling Cassidy, who's already starting to ramp up really nicely. Let me see now. He's probably got already built up like a 800 gold lead over the Victor, which is very scary to deal with this early on.
He has the double buffs as well for that lane.
Yep.
It's going to be kind of scary for that Victor. Have to play passive at this stage already. Must not feel great.
Yeah, and I mean, because Cassidy is in spot he's in, he doesn't really get punished by an AP pick like the Victor, right, in these trades. He can just absorb it with the magic shield, and then possibly even threaten it all in. And now, yeah, it means that they can just easily secure themselves a dragon.
Yeah, they get a push in both mid lane and bot lane, so they just easily get that dragon. As the Herald does get popped in the mid lane, though, try and answer that. But the ult comes in from Ankle Smash Redman. Matrix is also ulting in, trying to get that distance down onto Boppler. Boppler flashes away after putting down the W. Is he going to be able to escape? He does get the speed buff from the phase rush and will just barely escape. As in the bottom lane, Dutch Source will fall to Cormico, popping that bomb as Cleanaz moved into that mid lane to try and help the skirmish, and Dutch Source did not respect the fact that he was 1 versus 2.
Yeah, Dutch Source getting punished. Herald was used in mid lane, but ultimately didn't take down the tower, though it is quite low, so it should take much more than a stiff breeze to get that knocked over. Cormico Maxus trying to get themselves Manizu, I should say, trying to secure themselves bot turret, which they will.
Yeah, they do get that. For after the bot lane being, after that stalemate that we had for the last couple of minutes in the bot lane, Cleanaz moves in to help in the mid lane skirmish, and their source falls down for it, and the first tower falls down as well in the bot lane, not the first tower of the game.
Yep.
So Cormico now has built himself up a decent advantage, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Gold, he has not 1,000, just about 700 gold lead.
700. So it's not the biggest gold lead in the world, but it does mean that the bot lane of Skeletal can now move to mid lane, apply even more pressure. Obviously, wave clear for Tristana and Seraphine is quite quick, and it's really hard for Caston to try and match that. So they should knock down this tower very quickly, which is why you probably see a lot of Milf moving down out to maybe look for a punish.
Yes, Cormico might be a bit overextended here. He does he tries to finish the tower and pay for it. He does die to Dutch Source. That was, I mean, it was a decision that he made to finish the tower as the flash comes out of Manizu, but I don't think that will be enough. The follow flash comes in from Dutch Source to get the double kill.
Yeah, it's a decision that was made for sure. It's not the right one. You gave Shutdown gold.
That was low. It's a bit of a tunnel vision, you could say, but he did actively, because he could have jumped away earlier, but he.
I mean, I saw the way he was positioning. I could see what he was going for, but there's just no need for it, right? Like, you've already gotten first blood turret. Like, getting that middle turret down this soon isn't like the most necessary thing, right? Like, you can have time to have your team maybe get into position, push other lanes, make sure that Milf have to answer the other side lanes, and then maybe you can make a push for it, right? But he kind of just did it a bit disrespectfully. Ultimately gets punished and gets Manizu killed for his troubles as well, and just gives more gold over to Dutch Source, who they were
now
built on
completely equalized the gold between the ADCs.
They're making good proactive plays at times, with the all-in earlier in the lane, and these kind of like solo 2v2 kills that they've been getting, but they keep throwing gold right back at them, and it's again, it's not what you want when you're against a comp that scales extremely well as this. Like,
yeah, indeed. As the Kassadin is now level 12, just 4 more levels until that magical level 16 mark. So we are waiting to see. The next objective on the map will be the Baron spawning, but you know it's early for both of these teams, I think, to go for that. So it's a bit of a stalemate on the map. The side of Skeletal do have a bit more map control, having taken all 3 of the outer turrets, but they can't really push anything further. They can't really gain anything else out of that. So right now it's just bouncing waves, which is advantageous, of course, for the side of Man Love Frogs.
Yeah, like what you would like to see Skeletal do here is like use some of their prio that they've got in the waves right now to start getting control of the bot river, because you have Mountain Dragon spawning in 50 seconds. Ideally, you want to try go for that Mountain Soul, if because at least then you can have some of the defenses against the scaling that is on the side of Man Love Frogs. Could definitely help you quite a bit.
As both teams are now posturing around that dragon spawning in 30 seconds, possibly trying to clear that vision, but Boppler might be a bit overextended. The ult gets forced out of him and the W as he finishes that ward, but at the cost of half his health bar. But
yeah,
they still have control of the river, Skeletal, so we'll see. As Cleanaz are walking in here, they might be a bit overextended. Cleanaz is forced to flash away there. The ultimate comes out from Manizu as Lush goes back in, and the ultimate comes in from Cleanaz as well. That's a 3-man knock-up. There's loads of ult coming in, but Man Love Frogs are really cleaning up this fight. The Wombo combo really got pulled off there, and now they'll be able to get that dragon as a prize.
Yeah, SLB tried to rescue that fight with the Meganar, but ultimately didn't get as many targets as he would like, and just the pure damage being brought out here by Dutch Source, Matrix before he went down, and Lush, like, was just absolutely nutty. Cormico trying to throw back.
Gets jumped on by Cormico. Cormico will get that kill, but messes up the jump afterwards. I don't think it would have mattered because Dutch Source just ults in to finish that kill. Yeah, in that fight, I think basically what happened is Boppler used his ult and W early to try and dissuade Matrix PL from killing him, basically. And so he didn't have an ultimate. And the biggest CC ultimate, which being Manizu's ultimate on that Seraphine, was used to try and finish the kill onto Cleanaz, but it wasn't perfectly chained CC, so he was able to flash away. And that's when Lush saw it. He saw that he could just go in, and with that wombo combo with the Galio following him, they got the huge wombo.
Yeah, and again, gold now in favor of Mana Love Frogs. They've got the scaling comp. They've got nearly 1k gold lead under ADC. Over like 1k gold on their casting mid. Like they're in the exact position that they want to be, right? And they're getting, and because the fight's getting later, the game's getting later and later. That is, a lot more fights are going to be around these objectives that they're good. That if you're inside Skeletal, you have to group up for, and your comp, unfortunately, is quite inferior as a team fighting comp compared to the side of Mana Love Frogs. So the game just becomes really, really tricky at that point. So what do you need to do? You kind of have to look for picks. Or, you have to be proactive in the way you set up a fight. Like, use the Seraphine ult in a chokehold. Like you said, it wasn't available there for the last fight, but... there
is still tools, I think.
Yeah.
I agree. There is still tools for the side of Skeletal. If they manage to position really well, they manage to get the huge play from Manizu or from SLB, because they still have CC for those team fights. It's just that it's a lot easier to execute on the side of Man Love Frogs, so they have to be really careful. They have to play it really well.
Yep. And also, the other issue with when we were talking about so much scaling for the side of Man Love Frogs is that you also have Ornn items coming in, which give them even more stats to work with. So, yeah, like. It's looking pretty scary for Skeletal right now. We need to see them try to be a little bit inventive with how they're going to make picks or how they're going to try set up a fight for themselves. Because I don't think they can rely on Manalo Frogs kind of making this mistake, because ultimately their comp is just really easy to kind of execute on. They just have to kind of farm, group up for objectives, and just kind of make sure vision's at least somewhat decent for them, and they should be fine. Like, the setup is very much there for them. So we'll have to see how Skeletal kind of answer all this.
As right now there is not too much vision at the Baron pit on both sides, both teams, but the side of Manalo Frogs are not pushing up too deep. I guess they don't expect people to be, there's, I don't know why there's no vision from either team there right now, but yeah, that should be the next step, at least for Manalo Frogs. They should be looking at that Baron, as they control it there, to make sure that it doesn't get sneaked while they're being, while they're answering waves, and they should get ready here as they are getting ready into that pixel bush to potentially catch someone out.
Yeah, seen SLB is bot lane, doesn't have TP available quite yet, so won't be able to port into this fight. But Cormico maybe getting cut out.
Yeah, he is sitting in the mid lane. He does try to jump away, but it's not going to be enough. The ult comes in from him, but Dutch Source still finishes that kill. Yeah, the Manalo Frogs, they saw that SLB was still down in the bot lane. They had to pull the trigger, and now they're going to be starting that Baron buff, I think, because no one is... Oh no, the Cassidy is backing, but he has TP, while SLB does not have TP. But no, his back was interrupted. So this is a race against the clock. How quickly can they finish the Baron, and how safe they can be while SLB is still pushing in that bottom lane. 2 people over the wall, but the jungler is being held away by Matrix on the side. The Baron does get finished, but what will it cost in the bot lane as the TP comes in from Matrix to try and save that tower?
Yeah, I mean, SLB just can't push fast enough, He hasn't got the kind of build that lets Nar kind of kill towers as quickly as he would like. So, yeah, and Krusty being zoned out of the fight means that they could not even contest the Baron.
Oh, the flashing from Dutch Source to try and chase SLB, who used his flash, but then he's not going to keep chasing. He's going to turn on to Krusty Pants, as both teams managed to join this bot lane fight after that Baron fell down. But in the end, it was the tier 2 and inhibitor turret for the Baron, as the dragon gets started now by the side of Skeletal, but Lush is nearby lurking.
Yeah, they're trying to maybe delay like the Dragon Soul win condition here for...
TP comes in from SLB. He's flanking, but he does get caught out there in the flank in a 1v1 against Matrix, as the rest of the teams are posturing around this river. The dragon is still attacking. It's still aggroed, but right now no one has died yet. Krusty Pants does get very low. Manizu will be the first to fall, as Dutch Source barely survives with that ultimate shield. A double kill for Clean As, and Cormico looks to fall as well. Down to Lush, I believe, as a shutdown comes in from SLB onto Dutch Source, but he will fall as he's 1 versus 4 now, and the dragon will eventually go to Manalo Frogs.
I mean, yeah, like SLB did have the gold advantage on him for his team, but like ultimately as Nard, there's not an awful lot you can do 1v5. Even though he was trading like kind of effectively in that 1v1 versus the Cassidy.
He was chasing Cassidy back into his team, and if the rest of his team, if the rest of Skeletal were able to dance a little bit more without getting caught out in that big damage that they did, if they were able to hold out for just a couple seconds longer, maybe SLB would have been able to make that miracle play, jump in the middle of the team and wombo them a little bit, but that didn't happen. So it's another tower. Is a third dragon of the game for the side of Manalo Frogs, and the mid tier 2 as well, and then the bot tier 2, I believe, as well.
Yeah, and again, it continues to look rough for Skeletals. Krusty Pants may be looking for a play here, but the rest of the team is quite far away.
Try to catch Lush. He does, like, Udyr is one of those champions that has insane chase potential, but he will not keep going because he knows that the rest of Manalo Frogs was coming on the way.
Yeah, so I guess they're delaying the Baron play has been made a bit. We haven't seen too much being taken so far by Manalo Frogs, but ultimately they're not going to really care too much. Like, again, they're continuing to scale. They're continuing to rack up a lot of gold onto their carries, such as the Cassidy, now 3, 1, and 10, has 3 items complete.
Level 16 as well.
And level 16. Like, it's looking so rough for Skeletal here. And yeah, like, again, now all Manalo Frogs have to do is just set up for side waves, Maybe you can possibly look for a 1-3-1 here, or a 4-1. You could have Caston on the side lane because level 16, who's going to be able to match him at this point? You know, like I don't even think
Yeah.
Lenar could. Even though like he has a bit of MR, he can kind of trade a mini Nar for him, but ultimately, like I think Caston can just run him down eventually in that lane. And yeah, then he'll have he'll have TP relatively soon to join in any fight.
Yeah, both of the currently, I believe, yeah, Matrix PL's TP does come up a bit sooner than SLB. So if they do both happen to start pushing waves, it will be advantageous for Matrix to be able to join the fight. But I think that even without Matrix PL, the side of Manila Frogs just has a better fighting comp right now, as SLB does ult in Lush. He jumps in, he gets that ultimate, and he keeps chasing. The ultimate comes in from Manizu, a 3-man charm, but is it going to be enough? Krusty Pants is very low now. Does get ulted by Dutch Source, who chases in. He gets the first kill onto Manizu. Actually, Lush gets the kill credit, but SLB does finish off Dutch Source. Again, he gets it, getting a 1-for-1 for that ADC, but in the end, it comes in as a 2-for-1 in favor of the side of Manila Frogs.
Yeah, and that may be one of the last fights it'll be getting their own terms now. It looks like Skeletal can just get this top lane tower for free. Maybe looking for a pick-up offer. Nah, we'll just walk away instead. And yeah, just more gold been funneled into their pockets. There's no big neutral objectives on the map just yet. We're still another minute and 10 seconds away from the next Baron. Minute 40 away from the Mountain Soul win condition here for Manila Frogs. But again, it's really hard to see how Skeletal can kind of make anything happen here, you know?
As we saw there, they SLB tried to go for that pick onto Lush, but you know, but it seems that a lot of pretty much all of the comp on Myla Frogs, they're all either very slippery or very tanky or both, all the champions. So it's going to be really hard to get that pick, especially at this stage in the game.
Yep.
And they have enough time to get the rest of the team to join them.
Yeah.
So
like, if I were Skeletal here, what I'd really want to do is just try get down as much vision as possible, you know, so your laners can like try to farm as safe as possible up until an actual objective fight, right? Because realistically, you're not making a random pick in the lane, especially on something like the Hecarim, who can just run away, right? So they need to kind of chokehold vision into an area where they know that Manila Frogs want to enter. And then that's when you set up with your...
There's a bunch of posturing happening. Lush does get tagged a little bit. Ankle Smash Redman does get the 2-man knock-up. SLB misses his ultimate as the 3-man CC coming in from the chain CC on the side of Manila Frogs.
Oh, no.
Huge team fight, and Cormico will fall as well. SLB is the last man standing, and he will fall certainly too. Just a huge fight coming in out of Manila Frogs, and they're looking to possibly end the game as they... or at least take the inhibitor.
Yep, the timers are pretty high. They could definitely end off with this wave. You could see Malizu throughout the fight was waiting for the right opportunity to get off that Seraphine ulti, but ultimately, because of the last second Lush engage into the chain CC, like he just had no time to cast it.
They were in a choke point, and I believe 2 of them got caught by the as the game is over. The 2 of them got caught by the CC from Clean As, the 2-man taunt, into the Lush ultimate onto all 3 of them, into the Ankle Smash Redman, the Ornn ultimate into the same 3 people, and it was just a huge wombo yet again in that choke point. Well played by Myla Frogs. Better comp in my opinion, and well executed.
Yeah, the comp really made a big difference this time around. I wasn't a big fan of how they paired the Udyr up with the lanes that he has, because we didn't really see him being proactive at all. Like, he mostly just kind of power farmed early on, and, you know, Lush was able to be proactive on the Hecarim of, you know, in comparison, which is really not, should be the case here. And they were able to get that kind of early gold lead, so we definitely need to see Skeletal kind of go back to the board in terms of their comps. Maybe just try, if you can't be, like, proactive, and try to punish things like the Caston and the Kaisa with the scaling that they have. Just match it with other scaling, you know? Like, get Boppler on something like, I don't know, like an Nivea, or some other kind of AP mid that can scale. You know, okay, nothing scales as well as a Caston most of the time, but you can try to get something better, right? You know, like
Yeah, I
something
think
that team fights really well, something that can zone control.
the casted counter pick was it was a counter pick, right? I can understand that, but then I don't really see exactly how I don't know why they picked the Gnar counter pick into the Ornn in the top lane, as they left that top pick for last, right?
Yeah.
And they got that counter pick. They picked Gnar, and then the build was with the Stridebreaker, some sort of bruisery build. So it was neither, try and match the team fight, and he wasn't really. He was able to push it only that one stage during the Baron being taken, but yeah, it wasn't enough, and Krusty Pan's just not very impactful on that Udyr with the lowest damage in the game. We'll have to see a bit of a better draft phase, I think, by the side of Skeletal. I want to ask you, who's your MVP of the game?
MVP of that last game, I'd say it's easily Lush. Again, like he's the one being, proactive on the Hecarim. He's making plays happen around the map, whereas Krusty Pants was nowhere to be seen. Tried to help out top lane early on, then was able to make a punish on Krusty Pants when he made that kind of cheeky kind of tower dive he would look like he was trying to set up with possibly the Herald. Things kind of just snowballed off of that, and then again every team fight he's straight in. He's fearing the back line, putting in a lot of damage, making sure Seraphine doesn't really get off any kind of good ultis. So yeah, again I think Lush kind of smurfed that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say Matrix PL, but you really put a good argument for Lush there, because I don't know, I saw Matrix PL just doing his job really well.
Yeah.
Always being like, even in the early game as a caster, you expect him to just wait and scale, right? But he got those that early TP into the bot lane fight. He came at the right time on the top lane skirmish as well. He was at the right place at the right time in a lot of these fights, and he did pretty well as well. So I think it might be Matrix PL for me, though I do admit that Lush was also very clutch in that, very important to that game for that win.
Yeah, for sure. So just waiting to see now what sides the teams end up going. I think it looks like we've got teams on the safe side. So
Can you invite me? Yeah, that's not invited me. That's fine.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, we'll just take a quick break, guys, while we're waiting for teams to kind of get ready for the game 2, and we'll talk guys a little bit. Okay, and we are into game 2 of the losers bracket for server 42. Man, I Love Frogs versus Skeletal. Man, I Love Frogs having a pretty strong game 1 showing. Had a really good draft going for them. Played around it really well in the early game to kind of get themselves ahead with a scaling composition that had never really looked in much danger of kind of losing the game. As soon as that, at least as soon as that top lane play happened. So, interested to see now how Skeletal can kind of adapt here in game 2 if they end up say targeting either the scaling aspects that Man Love Frogs had shown, or if they tried to maybe match it themselves.
Yeah, so far the exact same pick ban as before. Skeletal opted to be on the right side as now. They ban Seraphine though instead of the third jungler, who I don't remember who it was last time, but they banned a third jungler. against Lush, but Lush doesn't care. He's going to take that Hecarim again.
Yeah, and they end up actually banning the Seraphine, which is kind of strange.
And maybe they thought that maybe they thought they felt limited and they had to pick it. For some reason now they have some other option in mind.
Yeah, I guess maybe Clean Ads or Dutch Horse might have been playing this, or even maybe Matrix in mid lane. We'll have to see.
Oh, as the Udyr comes in again, even though it was kind of underwhelming in that first game. What's going to be around? Is it still going to be a slightly less powerful late game scaling team than the enemy? Again, or is it going to be? Are they actually going to use them well and pick maybe side lanes 1-3-1 or something?
I don't hate the Udyr pick in itself, but we do need to see him being way more proactive this time around. He had like a farm lead, and he did get a couple like early objectives, kind of using Udyr's kind of camp clearing power and speed, but
he did get something, but
but
wasn't enough.
Yeah, but again, they also lock in the Victor paired with it, and it just means that like Mana Frogs can just do exactly the same thing that they did again. Like, you get yourself a Kai'Sa, get yourself a casting, because you know the Victor is likely going into mid lane. Like, I don't think it's going to be going anywhere else. I don't know why. Yeah, I think you could just do the exact same thing you did last time here.
I don't understand, especially since Cormac and Manizu like last series. Granted, they were against a slightly weaker bot lane, I guess, but why don't you let them like have some of that early rotation bot lane picks to be able to get some power picks? Maybe get the Kai'Sa for Cormac or something else that's powerful.
Yeah, or just I don't know, I don't know Butler's champ pool, right? Like, maybe it's more limited than we know. But like, I mean, if you're going to pick Victor, I feel like you need something kind of like a stronger carry for something like Krusty Pants, or like, I don't know, like ban the Caston. Like, you saw that it wasn't effective in the mid lane. The Victor does not outscale the Caston, and in fact he can't match up at all in the late game. So maybe just ban Caston. Like, I don't understand this, having to ban.
I believe Matrix PL is also able to play Seraphine in the mid lane.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd rather have that, to be honest. I'd rather go against that, than a Caston that's already shown that can just kind of play the same lane safely and then just scale for free.
Skeletal clearly don't think so, and they believe that the Seraphine will be worse than what we saw as a performance from Matrix PL on the Caston. So we'll see as they do. However, make a slight difference. They do ban the Ornn, as the Jax gets banned, and the kill from SLB. So yeah, SLB, I guess he's more popular. He's more comfortable in some of those carries in the side lane rather than the tanks. So a lot of them getting banned against him, while the Ornn does get banned away from Ankle Smash Redman. As Yasuo's being covered here, that would be quite a statement.
So
if he does pick that up.
It was just Cormac being a bit cheeky. He does end up locking in the Vayne, which I believe is probably his most comfortable ADC.
Vayne is a decent pick into the Kai'Sa.
Yep.
When Kai'Sa first came out, it was one of the answers, as you had that 3-hit passive compared to the bigger passive by Kai'Sa. But in the current meta, I'm not sure if it's still that much of a answer in lane. But in the late game, scaling pretty well, just like the Kai'Sa. So
the Vayne still matches pretty well into Kai'Sa. That's absolutely fine. Also pairing that up with something like the Nautilus, so you can kind of have that aggressive 2v2 with the CC is also really nice. It kind of denies Kai'Sa herself a nice pairing. You can normally put Nautilus with her. So maybe we're going to see something like the Leona come out here for clean as. Maybe even the Rel.
Or maybe an Alistar, Rel as well. So some of those picks that are decent into Nautilus, as Braum gets picked up, a bit of a safer lane coming in for the Kai'Sa. Okay.
Yeah. So like, you can still play, semi-aggressive with Braum. Like, you can try like W forward with Q, try to stack up the passive super quickly with the Kai'Sa, and those two passives of theirs do synergize quite nicely to kind of get that extra burst going. But yeah, it's definitely more of a defensive pick. So they're kind of recognizing that Kurmiko and Kurmiko and Manizu, are trying to maybe go for a more kind of all-in kill lane, even more so than the Tristana Seraphine lane.
As the Yone gets picked up for SLB as an answer into the Scion this time, he doesn't want to go for any of those half-halves. He doesn't want to half carry, half tank. He wants the full carry champion for himself. He wants to try and get that advantage in the side lane.
In theory, you could also see a lane swap come out here. Like, you could see Bottler maybe go up to top lane with a Victor, put Yone on SLB on Yone, sorry, into the Castin, and maybe try to punish him more that way. It's something I would like to see, because I don't think, obviously Yone can probably punish the Sion like effectively enough, but I think, Matrix's Castin is the thing I think you really need to focus on here, like, and something you really want to, like, if you're Krusty Pants in particular, you need to put a lot more focus on trying to punish in the early game.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Krusty Pants plays this early game differently, because that one Dragon and one early Herald were not enough for his team. So yeah, slightly different comp coming out of the side of Skeletal.
Yep.
Almost the exact same out of side of just slightly different champions, but it's very similar.
So
style.
If Skeletal can play to the potential of the composition that they picked, I do like it a lot more than the first game. But we'll have to kind of wait and see if Krusty Pants can be more proactive or not. But anyway, we will let Spectre Delay catch up, guys, so we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. I'll pause at 25.
Okay, I'll count up. I'm at 13 now. Alright. 21? 22?
Yeah, we're on the same time, so that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
As there's some posturing, some pings happen from the side of Skeletal. They're going for some level 1 play here in the top side. Are they going to be spotted out? They are gathering up here in that bush in the top side river. I don't think they've been seen yet. Manizu is coming in first with that hook, potentially going to try and catch out Ankle Smash Redman, but Ankle Smash Redman just goes around the corners and walks away.
Yep, so cheeky level 1 plays not coming up with anything here. So Lush does get himself a ward here on Crusty Pants Blue, so we'll get a lot of information off of that. Looks like they're probably starting to leash him down on the bot side of the map. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, expectations for Game 2. Again, if we're expecting Crusty Pants to be more proactive, I expect him to be trying to punish Matrix a lot more. I hope that is the case, because I would like to, we would like to see this go to a game 3. We don't want another quick and easy game 2, like an unfortunate series yesterday that I won't talk more about. But Lush here starting on the red side, and yeah, Krusty Pants has started on his blue, so they have full information of that on the side of Manalad Frogs, and we'll see how Lush ends up passing after that.
Yes, I want to see this top lane matchup. I want to see how well SLB how much of an advantage he can get with that Yone as a counter pick into the Scion. As he is going in already level 1 for that long extended trade with the Conqueror.
Yep.
Does get Ankle Smash Man chunked really low. Sorry. Yeah, early trade going in his favor.
Yeah, so they haven't ended up lane swapping as I thought they might do, but looks like SLB is just trying to build up his advantages as early as possible, getting in some nice trades onto Scion. And right now, both junglers, just kind of early clearing, not expecting too much yet, but with Chris Van starting down on the blue as we go into a pause, I do expect him to kind of keep power clearing up towards top lane and maybe look for a play onto Ankle Smash Redman. Maybe try to snowball the Yone as much as possible here, which is a good win condition, right? Like Yone is like, that 2-item spike is like really really powerful. Can carry game a lot more effectively than he will on, say, something like the Gnar. But yeah, we'll try. Hopefully, we'll be back in the game soon enough to see how this goes.
Indeed, but as he is not on the Gnar in this game, the biggest like engage falls on, I guess, Krusty Pants, Point and Click CC, and Manizu with that. So we'll have to see in those skirmishes and in those later fights how they play it out. Is SLB ever gonna even join the fights 5v5, or is he gonna always be in that side lane trying to apply that pressure? And is Matrix BL going to be able to answer him in the late game?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Like I don't know. How Yone fares into a level 16 casting with 3 or 4 items. So we'll see if he can be maybe a split push threat later on. But they do need to get him to that stage first of all, so he can be a split push threat. So we'll see how he ends up going here in top lane. Bot lane, not too much happening. Just the farm.
There was an attempted hook by Manizu there, but it did not. It landed on the minion, unfortunately for him. So yeah, just a bit of a quiet lane in the bot lane so far. No huge level 2 all in like last game.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Again, not an awful lot happening. Ankle Smash Redman just trying to survive lane as much as possible. Obviously down 12 CS this early is a bit rough. Could lose a lot of this under third. It is a bit harder for Scion to try get some of the CS the way he trades. And yeah, SLB maybe looking for a bit of a roam here as they are going into the top side of Lush's jungle, who has just full cleared his blue side, so won't lose anything here off that.
They might just be able to get some vision. They see that he has cleared both his blue buff and his wolves, and they assume that he's probably just cleared his rump and gone back to base. Not too much happening in this early game. I guess just SLB really abusing this top lane matchup. In the mid lane, Matrix still like surviving really healthy for this range matchup. Playing that matchup well, knowing his champion well.
Yep.
And Krusty Pants still hasn't shown on the map outside of that river.
So he is down near bot lane now. It has run Lush.
There is stun coming in, but he will just stun Lush and walk away. He does not want that fight as... Oh, could that be a solo kill? SLB going into Ankle Smash Redman. The flash is forced out of Ankle Smash Redman under that tower. Well played by SLB using that his kit really well. The E for the extra damage, and just sticking on to Aqua/Redman. As I just noticed, this Clean as a Dead Source missed that cannon minion, unfortunately.
It happens. Like, not an awful lot you can do about
it
that.
just feels bad.
Yeah.
I'm not calling them out. I can relate to it, and it feels bad.
Yeah. Oh, LSB going in again. Aggressive trades here onto Aqua/Redman is getting a bit low, so does need to kind of play safe in case of
did TP back to lane, and SLB might have overstayed a little bit here. He is forced to flash away. Aqua/Redman no longer has the flash, but he does have the E. Is he going to land it? No, he is not. As yeah, SLB should have backed earlier. I think there he thought that maybe he'd be able to just keep trading, even though he's low, but he overestimated himself a little bit.
Yeah, you do have a lot of like lifesteal inherent because of runes and because of Yone's kit, but you know, ultimately doesn't get punished for it. Shouldn't lose any CS for it. Does have to use his TP, so Aqua/Redman will have TP back up first to make maybe some sort of map impact. But yeah, again, SLB just kind of continuing to build up his lead up in top lane, showing that he's mostly unafraid to keep on trading aggressively under tower. And yeah, again, otherwise not too much happening. Teams are scaling again, which does overall still really favor Man Love Frogs just because of that Kassadin alone. Now,
and they still have the better 5v5, I think.
Yeah,
because of that Sion ultimate, because of the overall as a 5v5. But in the late game, I think SLB now has a better pick to match. It's just some more trading.
Yep. Now obviously Corbico has
as the flash bear slump comes in onto Clean As by Krusty Pants, but he's forced to walk away. The TP comes in from I didn't see who, from Boppler, as Boppler manages to get an ultimate off into everybody, but he will not be able to save his jungler, as both junglers fall now, and it's the other 3 players on each team walk away. So both mids TP there as the ultimate comes in top lane by SLB after he E'd. Is he going to be enough damage? No, it's not. No. The Sion will still health.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened to start that fight, because I saw Manizu and Krusty Pants like looking for a pick, and then but at the back, Cormico was still free hitting on minions. It was a bit strange to watch. But they ended up going 1-for-1 there, so they're not going to feel too bad about that. Obviously,
both junglers fell, and both mids used their TP for this fight.
Yeah, but ultimately, Kassadin's the one who came away with a kill, and the gold for the side of Skeletal went on to Manizu, for that kill credit, I should say. So, again, that really kind of just favors Man Love Frogs getting early gold onto the Kassadin. Has the tier bot, has that Darksteel already stacking, so yeah, Matrix is going to be pretty happy with this outcome.
Yeah, 100%. As Krusty Pants yet again will go for that first dragon of the game after the bot lane play. He just is able to take it solo. I don't know if he got spotted by that Pixel Bush ward, but no one is answering on the side of Man Love Frog, so they either know that it's happening and they don't care, or they don't know.
Okay,
as now
nice.
They will know.
Yeah, so nice take from Krusty Pants. Gets himself the early Ocean Drake, which is, it's going to be nice enough for lane. Not going to make too much of an impact, just the one Ocean. Do have the Infernal coming next, so we are going to have ourselves a Mountain or a Cloud Soul map. We'll have to see how that ends up going, but yeah, again, lane's kind of returning back to where you were. SLB continuing to trade into Aqua/Redman. It's only hasn't built like a huge lead here, only about 10 CS up. Not a massive amount.
Yeah, and he's not winning these trades hard anymore, but he's still, still ahead, still not falling behind just yet. Let's see how well he can scale once he gets some more items.
Yeah. Now we do see Krusty Pants is running up top side.
The ult comes in as the SLB ults onto Aqua/Redman after that knockup. Aqua/Redman flash ults away and is able to escape from that gank.
Yeah, but will be forced to recall here. Doesn't have TP quite yet to get back to lane, so will miss out on a bunch more CS, and does give Krusty Pants an opportunity to go for this Herald.
Indeed, the early objectives yet again going on the side of Skeletal, Krusty Pants with that early game pressure from the Udyr, but is the rest of the game going to turn out differently? That's what we're waiting to see.
Yeah, so
Oh, as the hook comes in onto Dutch Lord and the ultimate, but the Lush is there first, and Matrix is there. Manizu is a bit
oh no.
overextended and out of position, and he will fall.
Yeah, Matrix again with the roams and the casting, just able to keep kind of picking up these kills and assists and continuing to build his own lead. Bottler, in the meantime, just
As
wait
there
here.
might be a cross map play here, a dive as Krusty Pants takes that tower aggro, and the kill will be finished off by SLB. They're trying to also deny some of those minions, but I think Ankle Smash Rayman gets 2 of them.
Yep.
And yeah, they might open up, try to like take some of those plates with a Herald in the top lane. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so just keep a track of gold. Like, this will be built himself a 1k gold lead over the Scion on the Yone, which is fine. Meanwhile, you have 500 gold extra on the Kassadin. So, yeah, Skeletal aren't doing too bad. Again, they've got themselves objectives. They've managed to get some more plate gold into SLB. He'll be pretty happy about that with that Herald play. He is going to get caught out here by Lush, though.
SLB is kind of misplaying there. You don't use E to run away on Yone, as he's going to fall to that gank from Lush.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew that Lush was actually coming. Maybe he was just trying to make a play, trying to kill Ankle Smash Rayman under thirst. But ultimately gets himself caught out, and yeah, ends up giving gold over now back to the Scion, which isn't going to make too much of an impact, but it does help Ankle Smash Rayman just a little bit. Maybe rush towards one of those completed armor items to try to help him, give him a bit more survivability in this lane. But yeah, at least we're seeing a bit more proactivity coming out from Krusty Pants. He is 0-1 and 2 now, has managed to help out SLB just a little bit. Ultimately, though, Matrix, again, still kind of scaling away on Caston, is going to be a big point of contention later on in the game. We'll see if
level 9, so it's not super detrimental just yet, but he's close to that level 11, and we'll see. And he just like last game, he was useful in this early game fight in the bot lane. We'll see how the game plays out, if he keeps being useful, if Yone is able to, SLB is able to get that top lane pressure on Yone.
Yeah. So Lush is hovering around bot lane here at the moment, but they are pushed in super deep, so unlikely a play to happen here unless Cormac go into pushing this out, but looks like they're going to try just have a freeze here. So yeah, there's nothing really here for Lush to do, unless they just go randomly aggressively again, which I don't think they will after the last play. And mostly, I think they're just kind of waiting here for... Oh?
Yeah, there was the attempt by SLB to try and dodge that knockup by Ankle Smash Rayman. As the ultimate comes in from both of the top laners, SLB's Immortal Shield also gets procced in that exchange.
Yep.
That's a bit unfortunate.
So yeah, managed to dodge out the ulti by using his own ulti to kind of cancel it out. But is getting pushed in here by the Scion. Will have TP for the dragon fight that could be coming up here in the next 10 seconds. Whereas Ankle Smash Rayman does not, and he doesn't have the ulti either. So this could be in favor of SLB if he doesn't take too much damage here. Maybe it goes for a reset. We'll see now how Skeletal play around this.
Yes, Krusty Pants is stunning Lush there after that blue smite, and he walks away to avoid being CC'd by... Oh, as the flash comes in from Manizu over the wall, but the TP comes in from Matrix onto that ward. Is he going to just finish Cormico? Yeah, he goes straight onto Cormico as Lush does fall to Krusty Pants. The two of them are running away there, 3v2, and all of them three are going to die, as Matrix is not going to be able to get that kill onto Cormico on the other side, and he might get dived here, but that might be a bit greedy, as yeah, he'll be able to walk away. 5-man bot lane by the side of Skeletal, and they're going to get 3 kills for it. And possibly the Drake, I believe, right now.
Yeah, a much better fight coming out from Skeletal this time around. Like, Lush did get the ulti off, and ultimately the TP diff in top lane didn't actually matter, because SLP got there so late that the fight was already over. And he ends up just kind of walking back towards... Well, actually, he's now down bot lane for some reason. He was walking up river, now he's down bot lane. I'm not too sure what happened here. But...
I guess they saw that the plates were gonna fall because it's 14 minutes, so they wanted to finish the tower.
Yeah, so that's fine. They get themselves the first blood tower, which is pretty nice. That's some extra gold in their pockets. They now built themselves up nearly a 4k gold lead off the back of that play, and get themselves the second dragon, which is really nice. And And yeah, Skeletal playing this game a lot more cleanly. And the composition is going to hold up a little bit better than it did in the last game. So already a lot more positive signs coming out from the Cork lads.
Yes, indeed. That was just a better fight, and despite Matrix being able to, like, Matrix PL pulling off that early teleport yet again, he did zone off Cormico from the fight, but Krusty Pants, Boppler, and Manizu were just able to burst down Lush before he even finished the TP. And at that point, I guess he chose wrong. He chose to focus Cormico instead of staying in the fight, and with the numbers advantage, the trio of Krusty Pants, Boppler, and Manizu were able to chase down Dutch Source and Clean as well.
Yeah, for sure. And now you've got a lot more pressure in this bot lane. SLB is going to face check in the Matrix.
This is finally the moment we've been waiting for. SLB versus Matrix, but as Matrix flashes away, SLB does get attacked on by Lush. As Matrix might have gone back in too deep, but he does manage to get the kill before falling.
Yeah, unfortunately, face checking there. Probably might have wanted to get some vision control from support from his team before he started kind of, going that deep. Does end up getting punished by Matrix and Lush just barely.
But even though he does get punished, the second herald of the game, will go to Krusty Pants on the other side of the map.
Yep.
So the Skeletal seeing that, making that trade after seeing the Lush on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what Krusty ends up doing with this herald play. Manizu.
There is some posturing in the mid lane. Manizu ults onto Dutch Source. He is forced to flash away under tower, and the TP comes in from Ankle Smash Redman to try and defend that. And Skeletal disengage.
Yeah, I mean, you get a TP for free for an Nautilus ulti. Like, you're going to take that.
And you get the flash out of Dutch Source, which is pretty huge.
So a lot of value gained there by Skeletal, continuing to try apply pressure, which is exactly what you need to do against this kind of composition. And yeah, so waiting to see where exactly Krusty Pants is going to use this Herald. You probably want to use it in mid lane at this point because top lane's already so low. Matrix is looking for a flank here on Boppler, but is spotted by Red Ward.
Spotted on the ward in the Tribush, and Boppler is able to walk back to his tower.
Yeah, so mostly just a lot of vision tests going on here. Krusty is looking now to push in the mid lane, possibly just pop the Herald right now.
He will do that as Cormico gets a little bit of damage on the tower. They will be able to finish it. No one is close enough to Dutch Source, but they should back off at this point because maybe... Actually, no, they're hovering. Manizu was nearby, and so is SLB after pushing in that bot wave. So just able to cleanly take it.
Yep, so get themselves mid open there, which means they have a bit more access to the enemy jungle, and try maybe start pushing up their vision, try to kind of choke out control away from Mana Love Frogs. Do have the next dragon coming up in 1 minute and 15 seconds. It is the Cloud Soul, of course. So if they can get themselves to that soul point to put on, basically give themselves a lot more kind of control on the map, so they have a point that, Mana Love Frogs kind of have to answer right because, they don't want to give away, Dragon Soul, even though it is just a cloud, it can be quite valuable for this Skeletal comp. Obviously Vayne really loves it, given her move speed when she ulties. Udyr obviously loves it. He's going to be getting extra move speed off it all the time. He's going to be able to zoom around. It works really well for a lot of their composition here, as well as Yone and Nautilus.
I think both comps really like the cloud.
Yeah,
both the cloud map and the cloud soul. So
for sure.
We'll have to see how they fight. As Lush here is coming on to SLB, forces that ultimate out. SLB is not going to be able to away. He does get stopped, and he keeps trying to trade. As the trade comes in on the river as well, Dutch Source gets ulted again by Manizu, but this time he doesn't have flash away. Is he going to go to escape? No, he isn't. Krusty Pants will finish that kill. As SLB still alive, Lush is very low. He might try to go back in, but he will avoid it. As a TP comes into the river, I don't know exactly what's happening in the river, but Lush does fall in the bottom lane. Cleanaz is very low. He will get finished by Krusty Pants as SLB dies in the end, and the only one left on the side of Mana Love Frogs is Ankle Smash Redman. He is very tanky though, so he will take a while to fall, but now Cormico is here and the Vayne will be able to finish that kill.
Yeah, I mean, Ankle Smash Redman does go down eventually. Does mean we do get the clouds, the soul point here for Skeletal, which gives them a really strong win condition now. You've got a 6k gold lead. You've gotten this. Yone is really hard to kill, especially for Lush. He cannot just make a solo pick like that and expect to try just kill him outright because there's just so much life steal and just kind of defensive stats on Yone. And
he did have assistance there from Ankle Smash Redman, but they, you know,
I mean, yeah,
wasn't
like
enough.
a Scion and a Hecarim, you know, they're not going unless the Hecarim's already like turbo fed. Like it's going to be really hard to try and kill off Yone on their own. So
he's able to buy enough time while Dutch Source and Clean As do get caught out in that river.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they're able to turn around the fight really well for themselves, and they've got themselves in a really good position here. So what you would like to see Skeletal do now is push up vision control around this Baron. You have the gold lead. You have a lot of map control in your favor. SLB can continue to push down this bot lane because he has TP available. You would maybe like to see a bit more vision in the bot side jungles just so he can kind of do it a bit more safely. But ultimately, if they commit a lot of numbers down towards him, then you should just pull the trigger and go straight on this Baron. So you want to see Skeletal kind of hover around this kind of Baron area, at least the 4-man unit. So you can start maybe like trying to force kind of Mana of the Frogs into that kind of, you know, really kind of tough decision making you got to make at this point.
Yeah, for sure. As right now, SLB is applying that pressure in the bot lane, but he's not able to push too far because
there's no vision.
Mila Frogs, they're able to hold their vision line in the bot side jungle for the
now,
moment.
I think he should do it anyway. Once Boppler reaches here in top lane, now that Krusty and Manizu are back on the map, like I think you should start pushing, but it looks like he's actually going for a reset, perhaps, or maybe he's just been playing respectfully.
Yeah, no, he's respecting that lack of vision. In the bot side river for his team.
But I really think he should just start pushing now. Like,
but he's ready for a TP as well. So right now the side of Skeletal are clearing that Baron vision. As Krusty Pants does go in onto Clean As, he does get that first stun and get some extra damage. Clean As forced to ult and flash away to jump onto Dutch Source and is able to escape just barely, costing him his summoner spell and ultimate.
Yeah, and now it gives SLB a window to push in. He is trying to get some maybe vision, maybe collapse here in the jungle.
As Krusty Pants is here 1 versus 2 with
I don't know about that. Like, the Victor and Nautilus are in the top side jungle, so they're not really there to back up Krusty Pants. It's a bit of an overextension for a play there. It kind of means that Mana Frogs now have a bit of a chance to kind of reset, get some vision back in their own jungle. So, yeah, I mean, there wasn't too much gain there. It does give, it just gives Mana Frogs more time to kind of reestablish some control back on the map. Although it looks like Skeletal are looking to try get their 1-3-1 back up in place. They are trying to get priority in all their lanes. So they can try to start up this play again.
Yeah, you have Boppler here in the top lane trying to get that push with pretty much his entire team covering him there, so that Matrix PL doesn't really punish him for that. And on the other side of the map, SLB keeps getting those select waves pushed in the bot lane. Holding Ankle Smash Redman hostage almost to that lane, so that because in a team fight without Scion, it's going to be a lot harder for Mile Frogs to play it out, as Scion is a big part of their engage.
Yeah. Now, I think they're being a bit hesitant. Like, obviously, SLB had to reset there. I think he was finishing off the Infinity Edge, so it makes sense trying to get that 2-out Fire Spike. And now Boppler has also kind of just did here reset. So these resets are just really decent. Like, Skeletal are really kind of wasting big windows that they could be using to try and push their advantage. And kind of giving Manalo Frogs kind of more ways to get themselves back, some sort of a foothold back into this game with, that vision control that they can try and make plays off of. And obviously now you have the Dragon up in 50 seconds, so yeah, I guess now you can play more towards trying to get that soul win condition. Boppler can continue. Boppler is starting to move down himself. He does have TP available as well, so can join this fight.
Yeah,
Krusty maybe try to blow some sums, but really not going to make much of a play there in the mid lane.
Yes, he's a lot more respected this game compared to last game because, I don't know, that last game they were a bit further behind. They weren't very far ahead, and he didn't have as much, damage from the rest of his team able to follow up on any of these stuns. So now a lot more
So
respect coming out from Manila Frogs.
yeah, Manlove Frogs maybe actually looking to trade Baron for the Cloud Soul here with the way they're kind of positioning. But because Skeletal have kind of spotted them out and they can kind of just hover here and threaten the fight, they can just take the Cloud for free. And SLB is also pushing bot lane for free. So like they're kind of getting the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, in that scenario, the idea is okay, as now SLB might get caught out with that ultimate.
Oh no.
He almost manages to escape with his own ultimate, but he's not going to be able to. Now he is going to fight 2v1 Manizu's there. As the TP comes in also from Boppler. They
what?
finished the Cloud Soul, but Manila Frogs, while Ankle Smash Redman went in for that play in the bot lane, the rest of the team went up to that Baron. But Krusty Pants is running up. I don't think he's going to get there.
They're not going to get there in time. I don't know what they were going for there. Like, why did
what? He flashes in against the kill. He gets the steal. Flash smite in. Oh my god, as clean as will die. Krusty Pants will fall eventually. Matrix BL fails his flash ult out of the wall, and Lush also fails his ult out of the wall. What is going on? As Dutch Source manages to Gale Force away, might be able to escape, I think. Just barely.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Alright, I don't know.
That was a bit of a fiesta moment right there.
I mean, I thought Skeletal had thrown that so hard with the play that they made bot lane, TPing in and trying to make plays on Ankle Smash Redman, but yeah, I guess Lush just got spooked by the 100 mile per hour Udyr and just missmited. Has the Baron still away from him. Skeletal now got everything that they wanted. They have the Cloud Soul, they have the Baron.
They got the Soul, the Baron, everything. Yeah, so what I think happened there is that Manila Frogs baited Skeletal into thinking they're gonna like engage in that bot lane right after the Drake fell.
Yeah.
And so that's why Manizu came there, but that's why Boppler TP, that's why Krusty Pants was there. But when Manila Frogs saw that so many people are coming in, they went straight for the Baron. And at that point they thought they could finish it fast enough, but Krusty Pants, traveling super fast through the map, manages to get that miracle flash steal.
Yeah, I don't understand what happened. I'm not gonna, like, that should not have worked. But I guess Krusty Pants just, went full pedal to the metal, was blasting initial D on 120% volume and just went for it. And yeah, like, Skeletal in a really good position to try get themselves to a game 3 now. In this knockout series, the winner does go on to face Gromp Gobblers right before the losers final. So very important series on the line. Skeletal looking a lot more confident. Composition is looking a lot better this time around, and they're executing on it pretty well. So we'll see now if they can close out the series.
Yeah, and Lush. The ultimate comes in onto Lush. SOB is trying to get that solo kill. The TP is coming in, but it's kind of in a bad position as kill will finish, but SOB is able to just finish, like, press Z again and fall away as Krusty Pants is here to finish off the kill into Matrix BL. That is 2 kills for the side of Skeletal, and they're looking to maybe close out this game soon.
Yeah, it's all falling apart for
one-shot Dutch Source, and the only 2 people left are Clean As and Ankle Smash right now. While he will take a little while to kill, there is still a Vayne. He will fall as well, and that might be the end of the game.
That is 100% the end of the game. We are going to game 3 in this series. I was not expecting that after game 1, but yeah, Skeletal showing a lot more in the series, and very impressive turnaround in this game too.
Yeah, I'm happy to see more of a playmaking champion for Manizu. Not just waiting for that ult every time as Seraphine. But able to pull off some of those hooks, just like he was catching people out with Z on in the previous series on Swain, and more of a carry top laner coming in for the side for SLB. I think that's a good improvement to the draft, and while it's still not that perfect 5v5 team fight draft that Manila Frogs are going for, they're able to actually execute. Skeletal are actually able to execute on their win condition a lot better this time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because of the spectator bug, we do not have stats for that last game, so unfortunate we cannot show the damage graphs coming out from what was probably going to be pretty substantial damage coming from SLB, as he was wailing away on a Cyan for most of that game. But yeah, as I said, really well played by Skeletal. They do end up tying up the series, so I shall update the score right now.
Okay, so this game, who do you think is your MVP?
Oh, it's SLB surely. Like Crossy Pants definitely stepped it up this game. Like he plays to the Udyr win condition a lot better in the early game. As well as like getting some early objectives, getting that power farming jungle. He also like actually made some picks. Helped out his lanes a little bit. But SLB, like I think he just played the One extremely well. He made punishes on the side lane. He was able to make picks onto Lush at the end there, which translated into another pick onto Matrix, which gave him the game win. And just he was able to be a lot more of a side lane pressure point for Skeletal this time around, which is I think what they were trying to do with the Gnar, but just on a pick that can just be a lot more proactive with it, and just something that can match the scaling that they've shown. Sorry, that Man Loves Frogs have shown with this casting pick. So and now it's forced kind of Man Love Frogs into this kind of position where like now they have to reconsider player draft. Whereas before they were looking like a lot more comfortable with what they had.
Yeah, they will have to maybe try out something else, or maybe ban out some other picks against
Yep.
against SLB on that top lane. Because I agree, SLB like Crusty Pants comes close for that MVP if they were far behind, and that flash Baron steal, which was super impressive by the way, if that flash Baron steal was important to them winning.
It was clutch. I will agree.
It was an awesome moment, but it wasn't necessary for them to win. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
it was just like the
it shouldn't have worked. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna say it straight up. It should not have worked. Given the way Skeletal had kind of made that bot lane play. But yeah, no, like fair play to Crusty Pants. They definitely stepped up a lot in this game. We'll have to see if he can continue it into Game 3. While we will take a short break as teams are getting ready for this pivotal Game 3 moment. We'll be back shortly, guys. And we are back, guys, for game 3 of Mana Love Frogs versus Skeletal in the Server 42 loser bracket.
Yes, as we see this time, for the first time in the series, the sides get flipped. The side of Mana Love Frogs opt to go for the red side this time after losing the second game. They don't want to leave that last pick for SLB. They don't want to give him so much agency. As the Udyr gets banned from Krusty Pants. As another adaptation, another evolve.
Yeah, so
words. Yeah, they're adapting their pick ban phase.
Yeah, so it looks like they're taking away the.
However, as we're seeing now, the Udyr was in place of the Swain ban, and now the Swain gets locked in for Manizu. And if we learned anything from last series that we cast on the side of Skeletal, Manizu is really good with the Swain. So we'll have to see what answer Mana Love Frogs after that.
So they do actually end up answering with the Morgana for Clean As, which I do believe is one of his more kind of preferred supports. So looks like they're trying to pick up comfort as much as possible. Kaisa again picked up for Dutch Swords, third game in a row that he's picked that now. Had a decent showing in the first game because obviously was given a lot of kills back by Kormiko. Didn't make as much of an impact in the second game, but again, most of his team was kind of getting a little bit stomped across the map. So not too much he could do there. And then we do see Boppler. Yeah, third game in a row for Boppler on the victor too. So again, he's trying to stay in comfort as much as possible, clearly. We'll have to see how Krusty Pants end up adapting with his Udyr taken away. Will he take up something that's, still can be kind of proactive in the early game, offer CC?
Yes, he will leave it for the second rotation. The Senna gets picked up for Kormiko.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, right? Because Senna currently at the moment is quite powerful with the new build that you go with the Kraken Slayer. You getting all that attack speed for her, which gives her a lot of on-hit damage. It's quite powerful, with Rage Blade. But is gonna maybe struggle a little bit, kind of wailing on this Mundo that has been picked up here. And which also could be flexed, could go up to Angstmash Redman into top lane. Could technically be played as jungle. I don't think so. I think Lush is more likely to play something that can be impactful for sure. Game. Yeah. So likely going to the top for now. But Skeletal continues to ban top laners just in case.
They don't know for sure. But yeah, Senna, good AD character. Really good bot lane coming out from side of Skeletal so far. I think they will have the advantage in that bot lane. But even though Manizu gets his Swain this time, I don't think it will be as effective as it was, in that last series against that weaker bot lane. But because Dutch Source and Clean As are better players than whoever in the last series, but now Orianna gets picked up for Matrix PL as the casting got banned in the second rotation.
Yeah, for sure. So a bit more kind of team fighting based there. It does look like the Mundo is going to go to Lush as they actually banned out Hecarim on their own side. So we'll see if they still end up going towards that or not. Interested to see what Krusty picks up here. He does pick up Sejuani, which does kind of match what we want, right? He's got kind of early CC, something that can clears decently, but it's like a lot of front lines, a lot of pick potential.
And it's good scaling.
And yeah, it's a good scaling tank.
Good, yeah, exactly. Good 5v5 pick from Krusty Pants here.
Does it match what these guys have picked so far? No, but with Renekton it does, because now you have SLB on a really powerful top laner that can match with the Sejuani passive, right? You can stack up her kind of CC really quickly.
Strong top side of the map. Strong 2v2 in that top lane.
And it looks like they will pick up the Malphite possibly here in return, which obviously offers really good team fighting, but not sure about that one. Yeah, I think more likely to go for the Malphite here. He is going to suffer in lane. For sure.
Technically both flexible Malphite and Mundo between top and jungle, but Malphite I think is a decent answer into the Renekton. He can try to stack up that armor in the early game.
And also there's not a lot of escape tools for most of Skeletal's comp here, so having Malphite ult threat in team fights is really huge. Um, so we'll see if they can actually manage to get to that point,
Yeah, especially
or
for the mobile Senna. She's gonna have a hard
yeah,
time trying to avoid these Malphite ults. But yeah, it's a very different draft from both sides, I think, compared to the rest of the series.
yeah.
Uh,
I
the two players I think I want to keep my eyes on the most is Manizu with that Swain, how
Mhm.
much impact he's going to have, and Matrix PL on that Oriana, because so far he's had this scaling pick and he was still able to be useful in the early game, but now he has a pick with a bit more lane pressure, so maybe he'll be able to uh, just to win out that mid lane harder against the Victor. We'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure. But guys, we shall go into a spectator delay, so we shall be back in a couple minutes.
Right, unpaused, right?
Okay, and we are back into game 3 between Skeletal and Mana Love Frogs. I am on 11 seconds, 12, 13,
Yep,
14. Yeah,
I'm
so
synced
we're
up.
all synced up. We are good to go. Let's see if there's any cheeky level 1 plays going to come out from either side here in this pivotal game of the
And
knockout bracket.
so far, it appears that everyone is spreading out, covering all sides of the map.
Yeah, so neither side wants to take any risks at the moment. Obviously, they know how important it is. They don't want to give away some early leads, if at all possible. And as we were talking,
He's stepping up though. He
yeah.
does get that first ward down.
So yeah, again, trying to get some information as much as possible. Obviously, not really in front of that raptor pit, so it doesn't. The value of that ward isn't as strong as it could be. Same for the one up here. Not really getting the full amount of kind of information value that you could, but look,
yeah, it was protected by the rest of the team, so
yeah, not much you can do there. But yeah, as we were kind of talking to before we went into our break, very different compositions look coming out from both sides here. I do like the pairing of the Sejuani and the Redectin, as I was kind of alluding to. I think it's a lane that can really punish any kind of top lane pick it's going into it, especially even with the Malphite, when he is stacking the armor, can still be very vulnerable to these ganks.
100%. Like the chain CC that comes out of it, the single target damage is really high.
And even if he uses like his ulti to escape, that's perfect. That's a team fight, ultimate that's down for a potential objective you can look to try play around for next. So I think Smash Redman is really going to have his work cut out for him this game. In terms of like a full-on 5v5 comp, it is a bit of a mixed bag from the side of Skeletal here, because you kind of have Redectin who wants to kind of dive into the back line, Krusty who's going to be looking to make kind of long-range picks with the Sejuani ulti, and then look for the hard engage, and then you kind of have some weird things going on here, like Manizu is going to go in with the Swain, try to be a bit of a nuisance, chain the CC off whatever picks he can see.
I think it's a decent comp.
It's not as cohesive, but it's still fine. Whereas
SLB SLB and Manizu both would want to get into the middle of the enemy team to disrupt.
Yeah.
Get that huge disruption roll, while Krusty Pants will be tanking for Boppler and Cormico. As a backline.
Whereas, I think for the side of Mana Love Frogs, it's a lot more straightforward, right? It's just absolute go button, Malphite triggers the engage.
As the first time Manizu's E lands this game and he's forced to flash away after he ignites Dutch Source. Is Dutch Source going to be able to escape? Cormico might have to flash in for that. He does land a W, but the heal is forced out of Dutch Source, so far nobody dies. 3 summoners used on the side of the Skeletal bot lane, and only 2 used on the other side. But Lush is coming nearby. The flashing comes from Clean As, the flash force from Cormico, but the first blood is onto Manizu. The TP comes in though from SLB. Is he going to be able to get a return kill? He does get the flash in onto Dutch Source. He gets the first kill. He manages to get the slice and dice, but he will not get a second kill. As Cormico tries to get a second kill onto Lush.
Oh no!
And he might not be able to do it. He doesn't have. He's unable to get that.
Oh no! He cancels the auto. Could have gotten himself 2 kills in return, but ultimately it is 2 kills for 1 going in favor of Mana Love Frogs.
Bit of a engage possibly going on to Matrix PL. He's caught in the wrong side of the map right now. He's trying to dance around this, and he's able to avoid the stun from Boppler, but the flash comes in from forcing the flash out of Matrix PL. That's going to be an advantageous trade. When you're a mid laner without a flash, you're more susceptible to ganks.
Yep. You could see Krusty Pants return to this lane, but yeah, just really unfortunate for Cormico there, who wasn't able to get himself that kill in the end. Could end up biting them in return later, because now it gives Malphite a bit more breathing room in the top lane to try catch up on some of this farm. Although, having said that, he's just recalled with almost no HP. Looks like SLB TP'd immediately to top side and just chunked him out severely. So will force out the TP from Smash Redman, and now SLB will actually have TP advantage. Funnily enough. So actually, that's strange, because it's SLB just TP'd the lane now. What did he do to get the bot lane?
No, he TP'd to bot lane. He
ran back to the top lane very quickly.
Must have overstayed.
Yeah.
And not timed his back well.
Very strange. But yeah. So SLB doesn't actually end up getting punished all that hard for dying in bot lane. Hasn't lost too much CS and can still put on pressure here onto the Malphite. Continuing just straight away here.
Yeah, some trading going on here. Amalphite still doesn't have any armor just yet.
Yep.
So you'll have to be careful.
Yep. In the meantime, Lush continuing the power farm way. Obviously had a really nice kind of early gank there to get himself the kill and the assist. Has the Bambi Cinder done. So one of the wave, camp clearing is quite, it's quite juicy. Once you have that item done, plus his own kind of AOE, kind of his inbuilt Sunfire as it were. I can't remember the exact name of the move, but yeah.
I don't remember ability names much, but
I guess we'll wait for the Mundo rework to come out. But in the meantime, just continuing to kind of power farm away. I am curious to see how much of an impact he does have on this game later on.
That is, we just saw, I think, why the Morgana was picked as an answer into that Swain. Pops that spell shield, and no easy damage and easy trades for the side of Skeletal bot lane. However, the E lands right afterwards when there is no spell shield available, and the flat is forced out of that source.
Yeah, I mean that's the issue, right? Like you can't black shield, the Swain CC as Morgana, but like your black shield cooldown is quite high, and also like Swain will get to a point where he can just pop the black shield with just his damage, once he gets enough AP built up. So, yeah, it just means that when Clean As is forced to use the black shield, that it means Dutch Source has to play a lot more respectfully, while the cooldown is trying to come back, and ultimately ends up getting punished there.
Yeah, that heal as now a black shield has been used again. He has to avoid the next E coming out of Manizu in the next few seconds. Let's see. Is that a steal? Did I see that right?
I
take
did.
Away the red buff.
Unfortunately, I did not see. Let's
see. Does he have red buff? No. No, he does not. Slush does not have red buff. So that was a steal, smite steal, cheeky from the bush.
Very nice.
By Krusty Pants.
Yeah, Krusty being a lot more proactive in these last few games, which we definitely like to see. Invading, trying to make picks. Right now, does get spotted in the mid lane, going down to his own bot side, so Lush should have full knowledge of this. You could see Krusty look towards either mid or bot lane, as there are a lot of sums down. No flashes available for either lane. But ultimately, just again, more trading going back and forth. Gold slightly in favor of Skeletal, mostly probably off the back of that bot lane kind of trades. Although SLB starting to build up a substantial lead of his own up here in the top lane.
Yeah, he is really like he should be probably glad that he's no longer on the tank duty on that Gnar and is able to try and get a bit more pressure, just like last game.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's hard to even classify Gnar as a tank. But
as the mistimed spell shield out of Morgana.
Yep.
Means that Dutch Source gets half his health taken off from that E by Manizu.
Yep, and it doesn't really do much for the Senna damage either. So ultimately, Dutch taking a huge chunk. Doesn't get punished for it too hard in the end. I think maybe the Guardian helps him out just a little bit coming out from Morgana. But yeah, bot lane pressure continuing to be applied here. Lush, however, is sneaking away this dragon here. And Skeletal don't have any idea what's going on. They are looking for a Gecko top lane.
Despite having the top lane. As the Krusty Man just jumps in with that ultimate, they're not going to let Uncle Smash Redman even use his ultimate for any amount of time. As Dutch Source might also escape, just barely. Cross-map play, they see the Dragon Bee taken, and Krusty Pants just goes in with that ult, as the ultimate comes in from Cormaco. Not going to be enough to finish the kill. Yeah,
I mean, Dutch is forced to use the heal, and is forced to back now. He's on turbo low HP, and it's going to be really dodgy for him to stay here. Meanwhile, that top lane gank was super clean, coming out from Krusty. Ults perfectly.
With a huge wave crashing.
Yeah, so it means SB gets loads of time here to get more plays for himself. May take the tower. I doubt it, though. I think Smash Redman should get back here in time.
Even if he doesn't, that's 4 free plates for him.
Yeah.
And he has 2 kills, and he has almost double CS at 10 minutes. This is an insane lead.
Yeah, he's built up a 2k gold lead already, almost, which is nutty for this early into the game. So yeah, Skeletal is going to be very happy with that. I expect Krusty to continue playing around Renekton. If the opportunity presents itself, which is exactly what you want to do with this scenario. The rest of your lanes are doing absolutely fine. Boppler's a little far behind, but it's not like he's been in any danger of ganks yet. So, as long as he can get stay within a decent amount of CS of the Orianna, like you're going to be happy enough with that. Bot lane, as I said, doing fine, apart from that early death from the gank setup from Lush.
Yeah,
but
they've
yeah,
been able to crawl it back with a lot of those E's
Yeah.
from Manizu catching on,
Yeah.
and clean as not 100% clean on the spell shield. He that
Yeah.
match land that first one I pointed out, but then he did miss time a few of the other ones. So
yeah,
we'll have to see how the rest of it plays out.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, as the ult comes in onto Boppler by Matrix, he gets ulted back. And Boppler is running in a weird direction as Dutch Source is here. He doesn't land the W. Boppler flashes away. And now he might be able to escape. So yeah, I think he's just able to escape and walk away.
Yeah.
So flash forced out of Boppler. Matrix flashed in that exchange as well. As Dutch looked for a gank, but he missed unfortunately his W.
Yeah, Lush is looking here towards top lane, towards his Renekton, but decides to opt out of that instead. Did walk over a ward.
As Manizu might be overextended, but Matrix as well, as he doesn't have his flash, but gets caught out by Krusty Pants. And at the same time, Manizu is forced to ultimate. Clean has flash ults in to try and get a lot of damage onto Manizu, but is not going to be able to finish him. Oh, just over the wall, Dutch Source manages to get that kill barely, but SLB TP's in and gets the kill onto the Morgana.
Yeah, and unfortunately, is going to lose a lot of his bot lane turret as well, as Krusty Pants did manage to pick up the Herald. Will funnel more plates here. Actually, looking like to funnel solo gold right into...
Oh, as the TP comes in from Ankle Smash Redman to try and save his tower. Also from Matrix PL. This is an interesting play. As Dutch Source is here, Krusty Pants is overextended. A double team plus Dutch Source coming back. They are not going to let that first tower fall to the Herald, but there's a huge wave. Maybe it will finish it anyway.
Yeah, they'll hold on to the tower for now, it seems like. Or maybe not. They are kind of just wailing on it a little bit. Nope. So it's managed to barely survive. Boppler looking for being ganked in the mid lane, but will just walk away with no issue. So yeah, I mean, nice play from Manolive Frogs to get some of their gold back. Managed to make a punish there onto Krusty, but you know, in the meantime, SLB did pick himself up under a kill. Is going to catch this wave up here in the top lane. Has the Blade of King done already, so it's looking really scary. In comparison to Magnus Splash Redman, who has only got himself, Ninja Tabby and Bounty Senator to his name, so he's still very vulnerable to dying even just 1v1 versus Renekton, never mind any return ganks.
Sure. He is still very far behind.
Yep.
And that first turret is looking to fall very soon. But at the same time, also the bot lane is quite low, so we'll see which turret falls first. Right now it's a less than actually just over 1,000 gold lead for the side of Skeletal. And we'll see if they're able to keep it up.
Yep. So 2.4k gold in favor of the Renekton, but most of the gold on the other side is situated here on Dutch Source and Clean As, actually, who they built up themselves a decent lead with the picks they've been able to make. In spite of all the pressure that they've been receiving, so playing this game very well so far. And right now, do see the side
literally the entire side of Mana, the entire team is posturing for that dragon.
Yeah, I mean they're being proactive. They already have the first dragon, so they're trying to play towards that dragon win condition. In the meantime, they will concede the top turret here.
I think Ankle Smash Redman just decided that he's not going to be able to defend it anyways.
Yeah.
And now that they've seen Ankle Smash Redman, SLB doesn't back off. He stays in that top lane to apply pressure, maybe get that tier 2, or at least some damage on it.
Yeah, I mean they're allowing the Renekton to keep farming up here. I don't think Skeletal will mind giving up the second dragon. It's not the most ideal, but honestly, in trade of not giving over more gold to the enemy team while letting your Renekton kind of get some more pressure here on the top side, I think it's fine. They will start.
It's going to look scarier and scarier. So
yeah, exactly.
It's a decent trade.
So it's absolutely fine. Do see again a bit of trading back and forth down the bot lane. Don't expect too much to happen here. In the meantime, it looks like LSB is getting out to top enemy jungle. It is going to run into the Mundo here.
Oh, as SLB is catching.
Oh my lord!
In prematurely, Lush ults and is able to survive just barely. There is no just yet no grievous wounds on the Renekton, so Lush is able to heal up and not die quickly too fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, he shred through him so quickly. As you said, if you had a bit more grievous wounds, he probably would have just outright killed him. But Lush able to just barely get away. I think managed to get some of his raptors at least before the rest were stolen. And again, SLB can just go back to top lane.
Oh, as the ultimate comes in from Krusty Pants onto Matrix, he does get the counter ultimate, but he is stunned under that Victor ultimate and will fall to to Krusty Pants actually. Gets credit.
So decent pick here in the mid lane. Again, Krusty Pants trying to remain proactive as possible. Was looking towards bot lane, but does spot himself a red ward. Will decide to clear that instead, and Lush is going to spot out Lush here in the jungle too. Doesn't have the support of his team, so shouldn't go too deep. Does end up backing off. But yeah, again, positive stuff we're seeing out of Skeletal. They're looking stronger and stronger as this series goes. We'll have to see if Manila Frogs can turn this around. Again, Lush not on a pick that necessarily can be as proactive as something like the Hecarim. Or at least in terms of, like, he can't, like, boss a team fight, like, he's very much more of a... He's going to go into the back line. He could probably be a threat to someone like Cormico there. But, yeah, he's not exactly, like, steamrolling ahead in this matchup, He's not necessarily at the scary Mundo levels yet. So we'll see what he ends up doing. They are looking for possibly a gank here in the bot lane. Will get spotted out for...
posturing, and Matrix PL is walking down as well. That could be the makings of a dive, but there is not a big wave coming down, so it's going to be difficult to pull off. As the TP comes in to try and save that minion, Lush ults in onto Manizu, but he's Zhonya's under tower. He buys so much time as Cleanas is forced to Zhonya's as well to not take that last tower shot. Manizu finally falls, but he's bought so much time for his team. Cormico is trying to finish the kill onto, I believe, Ankle Smash Redman is not going to be able to. Boppler is still caught here underneath 5 people in that tower. I don't know if he's going to be able to escape. As Lush is tanking for a bit longer, Dutch Source tanks a few tower shots, but they will be able to get that last kill as well. In the meantime, in the mid lane, SLB and Krusty Pants, while the rest of the team is dying, pop that Herald and get possibly this, 2 towers mid lane.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Like, Cormico did really well to flash out of the...
Oh, as they keep going. Ankle Smash Redman by himself here. He will fall. And they're going to get some damage, like maybe even the 3rd tower.
I mean, Ankle Smash Redman is just... He's just not allowed to exist in the map, Like, it's just really unfortunate for him. So, yeah, ultimately, Skeletal, like, make good trades back on the map for all those kills. They didn't even get to bot lane turret, in fact.
That was a good setup dive, but...
yeah.
But like when all 5 members of Manila Frogs are there, SLB and Krusty Pants, they see, oh wait, we have Herald, the mid tower is undefended, let's just take it, and then they keep taking, all the way to inhibitor tower.
Yeah, it definitely could have been cleaner as well. Like, Cormico had gotten out of the fight, but had stayed around to try harass over the wall, and then ended up getting caught out himself. And then Boppler was there for some reason. I don't know. I think at that point they probably should have just given up Manizu, walked away, got the resets off. Meanwhile, I guess ultimately the trade did favor them in the end because Manila Frog spent so much time trying to get all those skills under tower. So I guess they're just smarter than I am. I don't know. It's a strange one.
It was a combination of things. First of all, Manizu buying so much time with that ultimate and Zhonya's under the Ankle Smash Madman barely able to survive that after taking a couple tower shots. Then also Boppler also able to, I guess, survive for a bit longer. In general, they bought a lot of time, and meanwhile, Krusty Pants and SLB just using that time effectively on the outside of the map.
Yeah, for sure. Now we do see both teams grouping down here towards the bot lane turret while this dragon is about to spawn. Skeletal don't seem like they don't want to let Manila Frogs get towards that soul point win condition. It is a Cloud Soul again available. It is quite valuable for both teams. So see,
now we do have a posturing 5 versus 5. We'll see which team pulls the trigger first.
So Manila Frogs are giving a lot of respect to Skeletal right now. They know that there's a lot of engage tools available to them. Krusty does get caught out, is probably fine though if his team collapses.
A bit of damage from Lush. Lush is popping this ultimate. Matrix PL gets caught out by that CC and will get popped. And now SLB is able to flash away. Ankle Smash Redman is the middle of the enemy team, will fall. Won't be able to get enough disruption, not as much as Manizu is. Manizu does fall in the end as well though. Lush is still alive, but not anymore. He does die in the end. Dutch Source will be able to, maybe no, he's not going to be able to get a counter kill, and it's an ace for the side of Skeletal. Yeah,
clean fight coming out from them. Like Vanilla Frogs really kind of gave, I think, maybe a bit too much respect to the side of Skeletal there, because they gave him so much control access to the river that they were kind of bottlenecked into, and then they tried to force themselves onto Krusty Pants, who's just way too tanky at this point, to be honest, be threatened by the likes of something like the Mundo. So yeah, they kind of funneled in, they got pincered, and they kind of got torn apart, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed. Matrix PL was. I mean, I saw he got caught out by the W from the Senna, and then he was able to get pulled in by Manizu's passive, and he was popped really early in the fight. I don't think he got an ultimate off. And yeah, the side of Skeletal were spread out. They were they were playing well and slowly, and the side of Mile of Frogs were not ready for it. While I think Ankle Smash Redman did ult in onto 2 or 3 people, he wasn't able to buy as much time as and be as useful as SLB was in the middle of Mile of Frogs.
Yeah, and Skeletal now, they can leave SLB in the bot lane. He does have TP available. Ankle Smash Redman is coming up soon, so we will be able to match if they do end up teleporting in for a Baron fight. But yeah, Skeletal have the setup going for them. They're trying to get prio in mid and top. They're putting in the vision. They have ultimates available to them, except for Cormico, but that's not really going to matter at this point. A lot of summoners also available, so they kind of have all the tools that they need to kind of force a Baron fight here for themselves and still be in a really good position. We'll see what they end up doing. There is a bit of red vision here in the river. Isn't spotted out quite yet by the side of Skeletal. So right now they're kind of just posturing, trying to force Man of the Frogs to kind of face check this river, and so far they're not taking the bait quite yet.
A bit of a Baron dance going on right now, but at the same time, SLB is pushing his lead in that bottom lane.
Yep.
So we'll see how it ends up in the end.
Yeah. So SLB can definitely threaten the kill onto the Malphite here. Obviously, like, he does have the Chempunk Turbo Chem Tank item completed for himself, but definitely behind the mark in terms of like tank items for this top lane Malphite.
I just noticed SLB as double Ankle Smash Redman CS now at 22 minutes into the game. So he was able to hold that double mostly so far.
Oh no.
As Cormico might be caught out here. Lush does ult in. A TP comes in from Matrix or Ankle Smash Redman, I don't know. Yeah, it's Matrix to try and keep chasing right now. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive. He does heal under tower and is able to the end. As the flash comes in from Matrix, but he messes up. He messes up and he doesn't manage to get that Q as far as he would like, and is not able to finish the kill.
Yeah, I mean, it does cost both of Cormico's sons being caught out in no man's land, almost being chased down by Lush.
But that's both sums on Matrix PL as well.
Yep.
For it.
So, you take those, I guess. Like, Cormico didn't get caught out at the end, so they can still kind of maintain this Baron pressure. I will say the one thing that is an issue for the side of Skeletal, their Baron taking is not fantastic between the likes of Senna, Victor, and Sejuani. So it will take them a little while to kind of melt this down if they try to push for it. So that's why they're trying to get as much shove, as much vision control as possible, as much pressure from SLB. Maybe even bait up a full-on fight so they can actually get a few kills and then try to go for this Baron.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good team comp for those fights, and maybe for sieging, it's not the fastest Baron take. So we'll see how they play it out if they sort of get baited and make a bad mistake in that Baron fight or not.
If they're trying to bait them into a fight, they're not really grouped up for it right now. They're trying to get some prio into the mid lane, and then they need to get right back into that Baron, the river, and then just force someone like Lush to face check, because that's really the only person who can actually kind of face check at this point, right? He's the only tank member that can move. Ankle Smash Redman is stuck down the bot lane trying to match the Renekton as much as possible. Is holding him in at this tier 2, so hasn't conceded that quite yet. But ultimately Skeletal just want to pick off Lush, so he can't threaten like a Baron Steel. And is end up delaying now till this next Dragon fight, so more likely you're going to see teams starting to transition towards that now, start getting their vision down, because again, both sides would like the soul. Again, they're both fairly far away from it, but if you're Skeletal, you still want to try to deny it from Man of the Frogs as much as possible. Maybe they're going to set up a bit of a depth rush here.
Yeah, and if you're Skeletal, you have the advantage right now. They have a 6,000 gold lead at this moment in the game, and they do want to push it further. They don't want to let Man of the Frogs scale for free. They don't want to let them have anything.
So if you're Mana of Frogs right now, basically this is the correct play. There's no need to face check for the dragon. Like, yeah, like you would like the dragon if at all possible, but if you lose this fight, you lose Baron, and you probably lose your base at that point. So right now they're just trying to concede as much as possible, checking Baron, make sure it's not being taken. It's going to be too late for them to threaten the Baron taking return, so they're just going to clear out vision, try grab some farm, and just try and stall the game as much as possible for themselves at this point.
As the ultimate comes in from Krusty Pants onto Clean Asba, he has that spell shield to just walk away.
So yeah, they are actually trying to siege chain mid lane. There is no tower, so they could look for just a straight up fight in the base if they wanted to.
Yeah, but they shouldn't overstand this. All 5 of them are nearby, but all 5 of both teams are nearby, so we'll have to see. Well, they are saying it's a bit of an ARAM going on.
Yeah, because this is a problem. It feels like the Renekton isn't able to push as hard as he could against the Malphite as before, so he's not been able to pressure, these tier 2s, or else, Skeletal, they're just too nervous to try to pull the trigger when he is that deep, because they just don't have enough information on where the rest of the Mana Frogs are. So they are just falling back to Baron, getting some vision down, still trying to make bait Mana Frogs into a fight, but they make a pick.
As Anchor Smash Man does get caught out a little bit there. He does get the follow-up stun. He is spell shielded now, though. He's looking to maybe go back in, but no, he just sort of walks out. As the ultimate comes in from Krusty Pants onto left, so he ults and walks away. It's a few ults traded, but I think it's overall advantage for Skeletal right now. As Krusty Pants goes back in, and Anchor Smash Man gets that several-man ultimate, and the follow-up ultimate for Orianna is a really good team fight. As SLB, on the other hand, is 1v3 on the backline. Is he going to be able to get anything? No, he gets kited out. And that is so far a 3-for-2 for the side of Mana Frogs. They're able to get a good team fight for themselves at a deficit.
Yeah, ultimately, Angstman Sherman was just more effective tank. Backline dive in the end. SLB not really able to make a pick himself there. Did try his best, but fight goes in favor of Mana Frogs. They'll take that as much as possible.
Really good combo by Ankle Smash Redman and Matrix PL with the follow-up ultimate. I think they got.
Yep.
I think Ankle Smash Redman got 2 people knocked up, and then the follow-up Orianna ultimate got 3 people into that same choke point. A lot of damage.
Yep.
And only 2 survived in the end from the side of Skeletal.
Yeah, and this hesitation and this comp from Skeletal is really starting to kind of make life difficult for them, because it feels like they don't want to pull the trigger on the Baron, but they haven't been able to find a fight that they want either. So again, it's just kind of letting Mana Frogs kind of just scale for free. Now, not to say the scaling is bad for Skeletal, like Victor and Senna are decent enough to that Barons, but the Renekton will fall off at some point. Like, he's got the Stark Skate now. He is building himself a what looks like a Spirit Visage, but it's not like he's going to have that much more kill pressure, on the back line. Whereas
he has to find a good flank. He has to find a good position where he can jump on that Kai'Sa or on that Orianna. Otherwise, he's just going to get kited out. As the ultimate comes in from Aqua Smash Redman, the well-timed flash by Cormico, able to avoid that knock-up. As the ultimate comes in onto SLB, who TPs from Orianna. Lush will fall first. SLB is still alive. Anchor Smash Redman will fall, being chased. Manizu with that ultimate gets the 2-man CC and gets that ultimate explosion. Will fall in the end, but gets another 2 kills. Only Matrix PL survives on the side of Mana Frogs.
Yeah, I mean, that flash by Cormico in the end was so crucial to dodge out that Lush. The Malphite engage, because it ended up means Lush got caught out under tower, was CC'd for 1,000 years, could not move whatsoever and got melted down. And then, SLB with the flank manages to make a big impact on the team, and Skeletal finally get the team fight that they need to possibly start closing out this game.
Yeah, SLB, his TP was in the middle of the wave, I think, and immediately as the TP went through, Matrix PL timed his ultimate perfectly to CC him right away, but there wasn't enough burst to kill him, and Lush was still under tower. He died, and then Ankle Smash Redman was being chased, and it was a 5v4 at that point, so it was kind of hard for Mana Frogs to be able to pull out in the end, to pull out a win in that fight.
Yeah, so Inhibitor down the mid lane. Mana Frogs do have enough time to get here to this dragon pit will be first into river to secure themselves some vision. So they do not want to give this dragon up. They do want to try stopping Skeletal from getting towards that soul point.
But if they overstay, they could lose a wave. Like the super minions are pushing mid, so they are on a bit of a timer.
Yeah.
They haven't started. Oh, they have started the Drake up, but they're in the same choke point where they got punished earlier, like earlier in the series. So
yeah,
earlier in the game. Sorry.
So not a lot of summoners on the side of Skeletal here, so it's harder for SLB to kind of flash in onto the back line, but...
Anko's Medman does ult onto Boppler. Does get the follow-up ult by Matrix PL, but Boppler will survive. He gets
Manizu.
Manizou is the first one to die. Manizu gets the huge disruption in the middle of the team, but will fall eventually. The two backliners from the side of Man of Frogs are kiting backwards. SLB still hasn't been able to get a kill, but does get the kill onto Dutch Source. Matrix PL is still alive for a bit longer, but will fall to Cormico, and now SLB is just chasing Lush under the tower. He will try to keep getting... He does fall for it, but is Cormico going to get the kill? Yeah, Cormico is going to get the kill, but I think he also dies for it.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They can just end. There's huge death timers on the side of Man of the Frogs. Victor is able to TP in, and he can just end the game. And unfortunately, because of Spectator Bug, we are frozen on the side of Sejuani tanking up tower. But yeah.
Yeah, as I believe that was probably a surrender at that point.
Yeah, SLB put on a really good show, and I think huge props to Manizu in that last fight. Whereas most of Skeletal had turned onto the Malphite to protect Boppler and just try to kill, Ankle Smash Redman as quickly as possible, Manizu immediately flashes in on Swain, pops the ulti, pops the Zhonya's to delay, give them as much space as possible.
Exactly, and in that choke point, it's so effective because even though he died in the end, he bought so much time, he did so much disruption. That's like his job, and he's just really good on this pick. He's proven time and time again last series and now this game, he's proven to be really super important on that, super impactful on that, Swain.
Yeah, exactly. And then SLB was able to close out the fight, got into the back line, managed to give himself a lot of time using the Gourd Drinker to kind of sustain with plus Hysterics, and managed to get a couple kills, crucially to kind of win out that fight ultimately for them. And yeah, just really well played by Skeletal. Really turned around after a rough first game. It felt like kind of worked out the kind of compositions that they needed to put together to kind of give themselves these better kind of early to mid game kind of win conditions. And they did end up executing on it. Was looking a bit dodgy around those Barons because didn't feel like they were committing, but ultimately they managed to find the fights that they needed in the end. And good 2-win series.
Are you able to see the damage graph, by the way?
Oh, I can actually. So let's see. So yeah, SLB absolutely monstrous in this game. Now, Dutch Source, I'll give them some credit here. They put out a lot of damage in that game.
Yeah, I think in the first game he also had a lot of damage. All series he's been playing pretty well. You know how OP.GG likes to give the ace best player on the losing team. I think it might be Dutch Source in this series.
Yeah, possibly. For sure. I think he had a decent series overall.
Between him and Lush, but yeah, he did really well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Competiff did play a bit of a difference in this last game. I don't think the Mundo pick was really what they needed in the end. They needed Lush to be on something a bit more proactive, so ultimately that did end up biting them in the end. But look, it was a great series. A lot more than I was kind of expecting coming in, and a lot more than I was expecting after that game 1 in particular. So, well, congratulations to Skeletal for making the next round. Yeah. Commiserations to Man of the Frogs, who do leave the tournament now. And yeah, thank you to Mr. Simeon for joining me for tonight. And thanks everyone for watching.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and take it easy, guys.